Hello all and welcome to a video response video, and this is my video response to Raztendo, who asks, if my house was on fire and I could only save 5 items from my gaming collection, what 5 items would I save? Now obviously Raz has done a video to this because he started it, and a link to that original video you can find in the description below. So after you've watched this, please do check out Raz's original video, and while you're there, why not check his channel out? He does some fantastic content. Perhaps drop him a sub too. So the 5 items that I would say, well, number 1 has been on screen the whole time, and if you haven't worked out what it is already, this is an external hard drive, and it is my external hard drive for my Xbox One. So I would rather grab this quickly than my Xbox One. Why? Well, it's a 3 TB hard drive, so it's quite pricey. It's also 2.5 terabytes full of games. There is absolutely loads on here. There's some AAA games on here which I kind of regret buying digitally. However, I did buy digitally, so they're on here. They include Red Dead 2, springs to mind straight away. That was bought on day one for a lot of money. I also bought the Mortal Kombat 11 game. That's on here with Season Pass. Soul Calibur 6 is on here, also with Season Pass, and many others. I've just remembered that I've got Forza Horizon 2, 3 and 4 on here. I've also got Forza Motorsport 5 and 6. And that is just amongst the plethora of indie games. There are over 100 indie games on here, and including, and I've counted them, 44 of the ACA Neo Geo games that are available on the Xbox Live Store. They all cost £4 something each. I've got all of the King of Fighters, I've got all of the Samurai Showdowns, all of the Fatal Furies, so many of their great shmups, so many of their great arcade football games, all on here. Yes, I could essentially just re-download them, but as well as this being a pricey bit of kit, the convenience of the amount of time it would take, I would rather save this and just not risk losing them at all. So my number 1 choice would be my 3 TB external hard drive for my Xbox One. Anyway, my number 2 choice, and this one's a little bit embarrassing, but do hear me out here. From my Xbox 360 game collection, I would save my copy of My Horse and Me 2. Yes, stop laughing. I will explain why. Basically, as rare as PAL releases, standard PAL releases go on the Xbox 360, this is one of, if not the rarest, believe it or not. Now, I bought this about a year ago for £42 at the London Gaming Market, and believe me, I didn't like paying that much back then for a horse game, but I am going for the full set on the 360, so I knew as a big hitter on the Xbox 360, I had to get this. And when I was paying that £42, I knew that it potentially could only go up or it could bomb down. So I kind of took the gamble. Back then, as I say, it was worth around about £50 to £55. It's now worth over £60. So the reason why I would save this is I would begrudgingly have to pay that amount of money again for what is a horse game. So I wouldn't want to pay that again. Plus, it is also getting one of, if not the rarest game off the Xbox 360 PAL collection list, if I have to start all over again. So that is why I would save My Horse and Me too. Right, my 3rd pick. Again, a quirky little piece, this one. Why would I say my Blockbuster PlayStation Challenge demo disc? I picked this up only a couple of months ago, and I would save this because it is a quirky little oddity, which I still don't know a great deal about with regards to its rareness. So basically what this is, stick it in your PlayStation and it will boot up a screen saying 1997 Gaming World Challenge or something like that with a Blockbuster logo, and then start you off on one lap of what is Rage Racer. When you finish that lap, it's literally game over, and it will send you back to the title screen, which is just a Blockbuster spinning logo and this World Championship of 1997 logo and spiel on there as well. So I looked further into this, and basically what this is, it was distributed to every Blockbuster video store in the UK in 1997, and it was exactly that. It was a bit of a tournament going on that they had, and the fastest time from every store would then go on to a competition in London, in which they would compete for what was a holiday in San Francisco, which they didn't know about, and a copy of a brand new game which they would be playing on the day, which turned out to be Crash Bandicoot 2, also on the PlayStation 1. So why would I say this? Well, I've done some research on this. I have no idea of the value, and I'm not saying it would be an expensive piece. To be honest with you, I don't think it would be. But I've only found 4 other cases of this in people's hands online. And with that, as I say, there was only 600 of them roughly issued. There's still no definitive figure on how many was issued. But also, it was never meant to be made available to the general public as well. So it not only is, it's a quirky piece that is potentially very rare, something that I would probably never come across again. I was very fortunate to come across it, and as I say, I would never come across another one again, I would imagine. God knows how many of the 600, which isn't even an accurate figure, are out there. As I say, wasn't meant to be made available to general public, so obviously a member of staff probably, once the competition was done, would just probably thought, do you know what, I'll have that and I'll take that home with me, and now it's ended up in my hands through a bulk sale purchase. Okay, so item number 4 I would save is my copy of Mega Turrican, and it is box complete. The reason why I would say Mega Turrican is, of all the games that I own, this is probably the only one that has a value in 3 figures. Yes, this is worth, box complete in this condition, around about £100. Now, I got very, very lucky with this, because I bought this back in the day when the Mega Drive was at the very, very end of its lifespan, and Electronics Boutique was still stocking some games and some pre-owned games. I remember, as a much younger person, I had a £5 in my hand, and I thought, can I go to Electronics Boutique and get some new games for my Mega Drive? Headed straight for the pre-owned section with my £5, and there weren't many games there. The only two that I could afford for my £5 was a John Madden game, which was only 99p, which is probably actually devalued, but I still have. And then there was this Mega Turrican, priced up at £1.99. I looked at the cover art, I loved it. I looked at the back of the box, and I thought, that is exactly my style of game. I really like the look of that. So with that, I thought to myself, yeah, I will take a punt on that. And I still have it in my possession. And I'm still fortunate to have it in my possession, because when I wanted my next console in its history, I decided that I would keep my Mega Drive, but I would sell a lot of the games. I held a couple back. I remember holding back my copy of Street Fighter 2 because I loved it so much, and my copy of Mega Bomberman as well because I loved it so much. Also, nobody bought FIFA, but nobody bought NHLPA Hockey 93, which I'm glad they didn't, because that is my favourite hockey game of all time. Nobody wanted Sonic 1 or 2. Everybody had it, but I'm glad nobody wanted Sonic 2, because I absolutely adore Sonic 2 as well. But anyway, people took the Streets of Rage 1, 2, the Golden Axe off me. They took Mortal Kombat 2 off me, which I kind of regret. This was one of the ones that was on the table to buy. Someone could have bought it off me back then for about a £5 as well. And I'm so pleased they didn't, because not only is it a fantastic game, it's also worth what it is to this day. And to have a copy of Mega Turrican that's worth around about £100 as my most valuable item in my gaming collection, which I'm so glad I still have, and now will never leave unless under extreme circumstances, I'm going to keep forever. And I'll definitely save if my house is on fire and I could only save 5 items. This would definitely be one of them. And my fifth and final choice is a lot of sentimental value, and that is my Game Gear. Not just my Game Gear, or not just any old Game Gear, I should say. This is my original Game Gear that I owned as a very young kid back in the day. I've told the story of how I got into gaming, and a lot of it was through arcade play and going to arcades and convincing my parents eventually to get me one. And they sort of compromised by getting me a handheld, which I could play in the car, on long car journeys and stuff like that. And the elation that I had when I unwrapped my Game Gear on my birthday back then was just unreal. It came boxed with Sonic the Hedgehog, and then there was another present as well, which was actually a box copy of Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion. But this is my original Game Gear from back in the day, and as I say, it's just pure sentimental value. Now, obviously, everyone knows about the capacity issues, and this is now suffering with it immensely. Literally, the sound has gone, and the only way I can see the screen is sort of tip it literally at this angle and play it in the dark a little bit. It is struggling, but you can actually, believe it or not, still play games on it just. And even if it does fail and nothing ever works on this again, I would rather get another Game Gear than have this one tampered with and fixed with. I just want it left in its original state, and it will become a display piece if it stops working 100%. To be honest with you, I will probably get a new one now because it's hard to play a game on it. But yeah, I would save this. I was going to say, this just has so much sentimental value to me that this would probably hurt more than any item that is worth money if I was to ever lose this. So yeah, just the pure sentimental value of this Game Gear, and it being the original one I owned as a kid. As I say, don't want it ever touched. It's just going to stay as it is and become a display piece. I just absolutely love the Sega Game Gear too. So That is why. That is why I was going to say this is my baby, and I'd be gutted if I ever lost this. So, yep, I would save you, even if you're just a piece of scrap that doesn't work. I don't care. To me, you're priceless. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is my 5 items that I would save in my gaming collection should my house be on fire, and I can only save 5 items. It's a fantastic question from Raz. I had a lot of fun actually picking the items. It's kind of surprised me how random some of the items were a little bit myself. But let's hope this situation never happens, because I've got so much that I would just not want to lose. So yeah, fantastic question by Raz. Please do take the time to have a go yourself. I'm also not going to... Raz left it open. He didn't tag anybody in it. I just want to leave it open as well. So please do have a go at this question. It's a fantastic question. So ladies and gentlemen, I think I've waffled on here at the end long enough. I now just want to say thank you very, very much for watching. And as always, take care.